Is Fred available tonight?
Fred's good to go.
For him to be back to
Fred, Dylan, Jalen, Tari, Alpi.
You had a lot of success with that Alfred and Steven double big lineup in the last game. Is that something you view as more of a weapon now, or is it still more a matchup-based kind of as-needed approach for you guys?
It's definitely a weapon. They played well and, done really well offensively, defensively. And the fact that we've added the zone makes it even more usable in our mind, where we can, if we don't like the matchups for both those guys, we can put them in zone. And but they've done well on both ends, so that's something we'll do going forward.
Is that zone really helping Alfred not have to chase guys around constantly in the perimeter? Is that one of the main goals of that, I guess?
It's both, I think, because a lot of teams do play a small ball. It's tough to play two traditional bigs, but keeps guys out of pick and roll coverage all night. And then obviously when we had Alpi off ball, switching with the 5 at times, he does have to do some work on the perimeter. So I like to keep him fresh and give us a different look and rebound and push and have some cross matches going back in offense.
Tari, the last few games hasn't shot it super well from 3, but before that, I mean, he's shooting better than he has in his first 2 seasons. Just how does him being able to be a perimeter threat open up the rest of his game and what he can do?
Yeah, it's things that, similar to what I say about Dylan, where he can impact the game without calling a bunch of plays for him. He's always going to be on the glass and disrupting and getting out in transition and those things, kind of doing all the dirty work. But obviously the better threat he is on the perimeter, more it opens up stuff for him in his driving lanes, but also spacing for other guys. And so same with everybody, where we obviously the higher shooter percentage, it gives Alpi and Jalen and some of those guys more room to work. But he's a confident shooter and looks a little awkward at times, but he's always been a good shooter since I've been here, and I think he's putting in the work to really improve.
With a bunch of young guys on your roster, Coach, as you get ready to approach April, what is your messaging to them in terms of playing that highest level of basketball that they're about to have to face?
Yeah, and I think coming out of All-Star break, the message was it's going to go downhill really quickly, and where we're at in the standings in the thick of stuff, it's going to be some of the most meaningful basketball you played to date in your career. And so, I keep talking about last year, having some experience with meaningful games, almost making the play-in and fighting for a playoff spot, and then, in-season tournaments, different things this year that some of them have not gone through, understanding what it's going to take to get to where we want to get to in these last 17. And so the vets do a good job of helping, talking their experiences through, but I think they kind of have to go through it. And, once it continues to wind down, the intensity, meaningfulness will all ratchet up. And so those guys have to experience that, and it's good to go through before you go to the playoffs.
As you go through this stretch, fighting for playoff season, obviously down the stretch of the regular season into the playoffs, what kind of value does that have in terms of evaluation of the young guys in the roster that you're counting on?
Yeah, it's good to see who is who and how they react in these situations, and the experience is the main thing for them. Can't really lean on anything until you go through it for the first time, and so. It's as basketball at the end of the day, but understanding when it gets that intense at those times, you like to see how guys react and play through certain things and rise to the occasion. So we are obviously confident in our guys that got us to this point, and the depth we have, and the vets that we can always kind of slot in there that have been through it. But good to get their feet wet for the first time.
Last time you played the Suns, they didn't have Beal or Booker. Just how does having those guys plus KD change how you game plan for them?
Yeah, it's obviously very different. We went after Durant quite a bit, forced 7 turnovers on him, and trapped and made others try to prove it and beat us. But it's a little tougher when you have the other threats out there, and so be a little more cautious when going after him with certain guys on the court as well. But still want to bring our physicality and do the things that we try to take them out of their game, and so that goes for all 3 across the board. Got to take the fight to them defensively and not be back on your heels where they can get into a rhythm. But when 1 or 2 are off the court, we can be a little more aggressive going after the others.
You obviously have a relationship with Kevin. Do you have any relationship with Devin Booker? Anything like that?
Just, coaching USA basketball, so we've crossed paths for a few years there, and obviously being in the West for a long time, playing against him. But got to know him pretty well in the Olympics and World Championships, and good guy, good scorer, great player. All the above.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.